Welcome back to another Tricky Thursday. I'm your girl Trisha, owner of Creative Costume Academy, where it is my mission to share not only the easy and fun way to start making your own patterns immediately, but also sharing with you tips and tricks that I have learned from my time working as a professional costumer. So today I just want to talk a little bit about irons, because if you've been sewing, or even if you're new to sewing, you should know that the iron is your best friend. It will totally cover up some little mistakes sometimes. You can ease things in, and it makes everything look crisp and clean and nice. You can press your seams open. There's just so many things. So I, a long time ago, have been sold on gravity feed irons. So I want to talk specifically about my gravity feed iron and why I like it so much, and why I choose to use that. There is a little bit of a commitment, just like when you go from a domestic machine to an industrial. So I want to talk a little bit about that. But the main thing that I love about the gravity feed iron is the steam. And don't get me wrong, there are some great irons out there, domestic irons, the little irons. I mean, there's so many reasons to like other kinds of irons. I just love my gravity feed because of the steam, and it doesn't get super hot. That's another thing, like it doesn't have to be super hot to have a good amount of steam. So I just wanted to show you my setup, and maybe you're interested in getting one also. I will tell you, the other thing is that you can get a Sapporo, I believe is the name of the brand, gravity feed iron on Amazon, and it's usually like around $100, even a little less than $100. And I know that there's some really good domestic irons out there, but you're gonna pay about that much if it's anything of quality, or even more. So it's not that it's more expensive to get a industrial iron. So that's one point that I want to point out. The other thing is, I don't know about you, but when I come into the shop and I'm getting ready to sew, first thing I do is turn on my iron. I want it to be hot and ready for when I need it. And for a short time, I had to borrow somebody else's iron, a domestic iron, and I totally understand the automatic shutoff thing that most domestic irons have, because you don't want to leave your iron on. It could cause a fire. I totally get that. But when you're sewing, when you're sewing and you're at the machine and you're sewing away, and then you come to press your seams open, and especially if you're in my world and you need everything due yesterday, and you go to your iron and you have to wait for it to heat up, it's like the most frustrating feeling. So that's one reason, is that once you turn the gravity feed iron on, it is hot, so be careful. Remember to turn it off. Make sure you have fail-safes put in place. But that is one thing that I really love about it. The other thing is it doesn't have to be super hot to get a lot of steam. And a lot of times I'm looking more for steam than I am for heat. So those are probably the three main reasons why I love it so much. And I love the weight of it also. It's a little heavier, but that helps to like hold it down, hold whatever I'm pressing down, and I feel like I can just get a much better press. But those are kind of my top three reasons for liking a gravity feed, and then I thought I would show you what my setup is and tell you a little bit about it. So first thing I want to point out is, because we are ironing often big pieces of fabric, I have this custom built iron table that my lovely man made for me that is big enough for a full yard of fabric. That's a huge help also. But here's my Sapporo gravity feed iron. It is on. If you've never seen, when you push this button and you get amazing steam. Let's see if I can show you. Nope, can't really see it. It does have a little dial here, so you can keep it. I usually keep it right around the 3 or even the 2, so my heat isn't super hot. And it's got this connection, so you have to, it is a gravity fed iron, meaning that your water is actually all the way up here. That's another good thing that I love about these irons, is I fill that baby up, and then I don't depending on how much I'm sewing, I don't refill it for a long time. And you can see, so I've got it hanging from a hook on my ceiling, and that's where the commitment comes in. I mean, you do have to have it hanging up high from somewhere. It doesn't have to be that high, but you do have to have it hanging high from somewhere. And then this hose should not just hang down. So you can see I just have it totally just rigged up with some elastic tied up so that there's a little bit of give. And you can see it comes with these little hookies so that you can have the power and the water together. And then you can see it separates there and the power supply goes to the wall unit. And as I iron, I'll just kind of move this around. I have that play from the elastic that I can move all the way around this table and get a big, nice ironing surface area. So there's probably a way to make it look a little sleeker, a little cleaner, but for me, this works and it's very functional. And those 3 reasons that I explained to you earlier are why I really love having an industrial iron, a gravity-fed iron. I really think that for me, they work so much better than any of the domestic ones that I have purchased in the past. But there are some good ones. And this is not an ad. I'm not being supported by Sephora. I'm just sharing with you what I like. That's what I like to do here on Tricky Thursday. And I also want to tell you that I do have a kit that sometimes I will rent out, including my machine that I like to travel with, and my serger, thread, safety pins, all the things that you would need to do an install possibly. And I will tell you, I travel with a gravity-fed iron as well because I just like to have them. If I have my choice, that's what I'm going to have. And if you can't do like anchor it to your ceiling like I do here, I have hung the water bottle off like the end of a rack using a hanger. I've had people who have used like IV poles or something that's a little bit more stable that you can hang the water off of that and kind of set it up that way. So you don't have to make it a permanent structure. And the fact that it stays on and that steam rolling out, it's just, I think, worth it. But that's just my 2 cents. I hope you found this helpful. And that's just a little chat about ironing. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.